What up? What up, Dynasty players in the house? This is your boy Mike Casper taking over for Jesse Schneeman tonight, who is in the Galapagos. No, I don't know where he's going, but he's on a cruise tonight, so he's not here. So I guess I took over hosting duties about 20 seconds ago. So I am Mike Casper, and we have Chad Mendoza and Austin Bell with us today. How's it going post championship week, guys?
Could be
Just
better, could be worse.
yeah, just contemplating why we're still doing this, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
It
I've
didn't
already
go
got
as good as
fewer.
semis, that's for sure.
What's that?
It didn't go as good as semis. I feel
Yeah.
confident in that one, but
Yeah.
could have been better. Could have been worse.
Yeah, I've added 500, so I went 5 for 5 in championships, but none
not
that
bad.
I really, really wanted.
Yeah.
So, but hey, 5 championships is better than none, right? So
That's right. That's what I'm saying. I won 3, lost 5. So and then lost the 2 I cared about the most, but
yeah,
it's all right. Could have been worse. Honestly had a decent week scoring wise. Just I lost 4 matchups by 8.5 points or less, and it all of a sudden got just enough to lose. But it was fun. It is what it is.
yeah. I know we had 2 close ones for third place. I know it doesn't mean a whole lot, but that was at least satisfying to get 2 against you, even though it was only third place.
Thank you. Yeah, I lost all my third place matchups, so it was a rough weekend to be completely honest. But
Yeah,
I
think
will
like 2 for 2.
dearly miss it over these next 7 months. So taking it in while I can.
Yeah, I'm kind of relieved, but I think I'm going to take a break, but I know I won't because if I'm getting offered, it's like it's just going to happen, and then get ready for the RSO draft and things like that. So,
Yeah.
always Dynasty always rolls on, right? So,
Yep,
already got
never
3
ends.
orphans. Yeah, 3 orphans. 2 of them are filled so far. So
Nice.
we'll-
That's
we'll
always
see.
nice, man. Before the actual like NFL offseason, if you can get all your orphans filled while everybody's still thinking about football, that's like the best time to do it, I think.
Yeah, I think we got a legit new junkie because I messaged
absolutely.
him both teams. I'm like, hey, do you want one? He's like, I'll take them both. And I was like, all right.
Well,
he's
see,
all-
hey, see if he wants RSO, man.
I'll definitely reach out to him. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, so I had 2 undefeated teams that lost in the semis, so that was fun. And then I had 2 teams with one loss and one with 2 losses, and both of them lost in the semis, so that was great. And yeah, so out of 9 teams that made the semis, 2 of them made the finals, or 3 of them made the finals, and 2 of them I won on. So yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah.
So 2 of your 3 won in the finals.
Yeah, but I mean, I just had such a rough go in the semis. Percentages are still terrible.
Yeah. Well, awesome, gents. Well, tonight we're gonna review some of the Patreon championships. I don't want to talk about P2, but y'all said I had to. And then we're gonna kind of go over what our strategies are right now with off season and kind of what to do before it really winds down, like post Super Bowl. I feel like until NFL Combine time and things like that. So, you guys want to start with P1 or how we want to do this?
Yeah, let's start at the beginning.
All right. P1, who was it? You got it up, Austin?
I do. It was C Stroud and it was Double Eagle.
Ooh.
C Stroud took the win, 161 to 108.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are you in the league, or like do you have access to the league?
Yeah.
What do you see any like last minute moves or any kind of last minute pickups or anything that kind of turned the tide a little bit? That's a big margin, so probably not, but you never know. Maybe they got Lamar at the last second or something.
Too soon.
Nothing to tell me. I appreciate that one. No, nothing crazy. Double Eagle picked up Mason Rudolph and played him this week. His quarterbacks got a little injured, so he ended up with he played Stidham instead as his second QB.
Okay.
He had 9 quarterbacks on his roster that weren't in IR. So after losing Cousins, he kind of just said, I'm just going to pick whoever and hope it works. But it made him to the ship, so it did work.
All right. Congratulations to him. And I mean, congratulations to both of them. Making the finals is no joke, especially in the Patreon leagues. If this isn't an advertisement, but if you're looking for some real competition, I mean, it's a tough group with guys that are really committed, and we have a lot of fun with it. But it's not easy to win these things.
Yeah. I just realized Jesse was a 1-loss 1 seed, and he lost in the semis too. So
yeah,
I don't think he was really feeling it. I'm sure.
No, he was not happy.
Lost by less than a point. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, it makes him feel better. He wouldn't have won it in the championship week either. So.
Okay. Yeah. That does mean some consolation.
Yeah. He also did get 3rd place, as I know the feeling way too well.
So who do we got? What league do we got next?
Yeah, Mike. What league do we have next?
Yeah. So we got P2, and my stubborn butt and my undefeated awesome team that just completely blew it. So yeah, so I was facing Neil. Everybody knows OG Neil, so he was a 3 seat, so it wasn't. But I remember when y'all were talking on the show, you were like, I think Neil's team would be the one I would like to play, but I wouldn't have won against whoever I. Pollard crapped the bed. McCaffrey got hurt. Tyreek Hill didn't have a great game. Kelsey had a crap game. Kupp had a crap game. I pretty much just Evans had a crap game. Mahomes had a crap game. So I pretty much just had a Debo and A-Chain do much of anything. And Neil had Lamar, Zay Flowers, and Warren. One really. I mean, it was a really low-scoring final. He beat me, 142 to 135. But yeah, no. Good job, Neil. He wanted to split it with me. I was like, no, I think I'm good. And that's what happens. That's what happens. So
it does every time.
I went from, I won the league in the first year, and then in the second year, I renamed my team Salty Seconds because I got 2nd place. Then I got 3rd place last year, so I was extremely salty thirds, and now I just named my team the biggest team. So, yeah, we're gonna keep that going. But yeah, good win by Neil. Hard win. Yeah, we would have lost to any of the 3rd place. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's always the best.
It happens.
I won Caleb Williams in that league, so that's nice.
Ooh, congrats.
No, good for you. Nice.
But yeah, so let's move on here. What do we have next?
I have P3.
Okay.
Here. We had Snoop Jesus versus Ben Doggy. And it was a good tight matchup. 179 to 169. Snoop had Kyler, Devontae Adams, CD. I mean, those two really floated him, but I mean, he still had Baker, gave him almost 20, and Zamir White and Goddard. So he skirted by with T only giving him 3, JJ giving him 10, and Devonta giving him 6. And then Ben Doggy had Josh Allen, Kyron Williams, and then previous mentioned Kupp. And then Hurts got him 20, and James Conner got him 26. So it was a good matchup. High scoring. Looks like they would have won anybody they played that week for the 1st or the 3rd place game. So 2 best teams did it, and Snoop Jesus came out on top.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Snoop Jesus he traded for Zamir White right before the final.
Correct.
Here was he in his starting lineup?
Yep, he was.
Okay.
Paid up for him too. Damian Pierce, a 2nd and a 4th.
Yeah.
So
wow.
he said, "Hey, I'm gonna get it."
Yeah.
To be honest,
do what you got to do.
Maker. Yeah, that was a difference maker.
Nice. That's what I like to see. I like to see people go out there and take ownership and win their games in the finals. And if it takes a second to go get Zamir White, then man, you gotta do what you got to do. Good stuff.
Yeah, Yeah, he had Jacobs out, so he had to pay up to get White.
Yep.
And he had nothing else on his bench that gave him anything more than 3 points. So that'd have been the difference right there.
All right. Well, congratulations all around. Who's next?
I don't have another one till 9. Does
I got
anybody else?
I got P4 up here. So
Okay.
it's G Collins got beat by team RJM 71093. Nope, this is not right because this is Justin Herbert scoring points. So I am not in the new league for that.
No. So yeah. So this was Patreon 4 was Snoop Jesus versus Jerry, and the man with the power won this matchup, 182.48 to 127.70. The winner in Jerry started Stafford, Najee, DK, Lamb, Kittle, Hubbard, Connor, Derrick Henry, Walker, and Taylor. And the loser in this matchup, Snoop Jesus, he started Jordan Love, Swift. He started Amari Cooper, so he didn't get him out there out of that lineup soon enough. But T. Higgins, Njoku, Eckler, Monty, Zamir White, Tyreek Hill, and Josh Allen. So it looks like Snoop Jesus just had an off day because all of his best players really just shit the bed in the finals.
That's what it sounds like.
Yep. Tough day. But Jerry wins that matchup by a wide margin. And at the very least, not taking Amari Cooper out of your lineup doesn't really hurt you in the end. So at least you don't have to feel, really shitty about that. So
I guess coming off of that win, who were the guys that really killed your teams in the last week? Just curious.
For or against? For me?
For you, that you started that just
2 dig shares and probably 4 or 5 JJ shares.
I had a lot. I had Diggs a lot. I had Swift a lot.
I had
trying to think
of
off the top of my head.
Rashad White a lot.
Rashad White. Yep. I had a couple of him too.
In a few spots.
Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy absolutely killed me. In both my undefeated leagues, I had Brock Purdy.
He wasn't that bad though, was he? Didn't he?
Let me see. Those are the ones I lost in the semis.
Oh,
the undefeated leagues where he scored 1.9 points.
Okay, yeah. No, I get you. He sunk me in my league too. So.
Yeah,
and I would have won in the finals. So, that was a rough one.
Yeah,
but, yeah. The Kamara injury and CMC injury threw me quite a bit. So, yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
P9. Did you have something, Austin?
I was just going to say the only next one I had is 9. I didn't know if somebody else had one sooner.
Yeah.
Or...
I just realized all the ones I'm in say 2022, so I don't know what has to happen.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll do some of the other ones that we're missing on a later episode. But I have Patreon 6.
Okay.
And I lost this one in the semis too. And I ended the league, the regular season in first place. But the guy that was neck and neck with me all season, he ended up winning, and it was well deserved. So that was Benjamin Holler, and he was up against MJC 734. So yeah, he won 130 to 113. And Ben Holler had Josh Allen, Austin Eckler, Justin Jefferson, Kelsey, Lockett, Pacheco, Tyreek Hill, Khalil Herbert, Komet, and Fields. And MJC had Dak, Pollard, Olave, McBride, Pittman, Walker, Higgins, Barkley, Hubbard, and Browning. And to be honest with you, both these teams kind of sucked in the finals. They both scored really, really low compared to what they normally score. So that was a shame to see, but I mean, the one that sucked a little bit less won. So
that's all it takes. You got to make it there.
Yep. But yeah, that's awesome. He deserves it. So congrats to you, Ben Holler. You put up a good campaign.
Absolutely.
And that's the end for me, I think. Oh, I also have 11 and 11 and I think Jesse won 11 though. I don't know if we'll talk about that.
I have 9, 10, 11, and 17.
I got 14.
Well, yeah, but that's a different thing. I wasn't going to talk about that, but I'm sure
Yeah,
you
I want
want
to talk about the winners.
Yeah, I'm sure you want
Me and Wolfie here did some awesome stuff in there.
We'll do a couple more and then we'll move on and finish the other ones at a later date.
All right. I have 9. It was actually me versus Boss Man Memphis. And to be honest, I wiped the floor with him. 229 to 120. Had Browning, Brees, JJ, Lamb, Ayuk, Laporta, Evans, DJ Moore, Waller, A-Chain, and my boy Bryce Young in the Superflex. That obviously didn't work, but after CD did what he did, I kind of felt like, and Brees, excuse me. I kind of felt like, screw it, I'm going to take him to the championship. And I set Chase and Garrett Wilson for him. So I decided just to say, let's do it. And I wasn't playing Howell after the luck I've had with Howell. And then Memphis had. Go ahead.
Didn't Howell end up playing that game and had a terrible game?
He outscored Bryce, but that's a different discussion.
Okay.
He didn't have a good game either. And then Memphis had Stafford, Rashad White, Elijah Moore, Robert Woods, Devontae Parker, Goddard, Pollard, Kyron, Kamara, Gibbs, and he started T-Law. So yeah, that was I'm glad to finally win it. I finished second last year. I finished third last year. Stu actually beat me, so it was nice to get the W finally.
Nice.
Well, congratulations. And who's our last league?
Do y'all want to do 11 since y'all are in it, or do you want to do 10?
We can do 11.
Okay.
And so in Patreon 11, we had. Let me see. We had Jesse up against Stormbless 13. And man, Jesse had a day. Had Lamar Jackson in this league. Bijan, Etienne, Debo, Devonta Smith, Goddard, A-Chain, Olave, Gibbs, and Kyler. And Stormblessed had Purdy, McCaffrey, Ford, Hill, Lamb, Kelsey, Eckler, Diggs, Barkley, and Stafford. Man, it's those last few. Ooh. Yeah, those last few. Kelsey, Eckler, Diggs, and Barkley just killed them.
Single digits, yeah.
Yeah.
What a lineup.
Yep.
I felt really bad in one league. A guy was trying to trade for McCaffrey with another player because he had Waddle go out, and the guy didn't respond to him until 5 minutes before the game started.
Oh man!
And it was Waddle and Etienne for McCaffrey, and he did.
Oh wow!
And then he lost the matchup. And if he would have kept Etienne, he would have won it.
Oh man!
He was so bad. I felt so bad for him.
I mean, Etienne's been so good this year, though.
But he had the past.
Yeah, he hadn't for the past couple of weeks.
But man,
6,
I don't know.
10, 17, 19, 13, 10, 7. That's from the buy on. So, you get McCaffrey, you're expecting 25 plus.
Yeah.
Of course, then it flips. Etienne got 26 and McCaffrey got 13.
I mean, but just to put it in context, right? Like he had his really down weeks against some of the toughest run defenses in the NFL, and he's going up against Carolina. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Really, to be honest, it was just one run too that saved his day. I mean, he had the other short touchdown, but he had a 60-yarder.
And he had a 70-yarder, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. That really saved his big fantasy day. But that's all it takes. It takes one play.
Yep.
McCaffrey was looking great until he got injured. No,
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
weren't going to risk him either. Playing Washington.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Okay, well, Mike, take it over. What are we doing next?
Yeah, so what are you guys doing right now in your leagues? I mean, besides that, we're all commissions and we're doing payouts and getting all the commish duties done. What are you doing with your teams now for the next about month or so?
Breathing, that's the first thing. Taking a breath is the first thing. But I think one of the things I want to do is try to buy some of the really cheap running backs that I think could see a little bit better uptick. And I'm talking guys that I can get as a throw in. Maybe I see two receivers in the same tier and I expect the other person to view them higher. Then, I'll try to get in a running back that I like a, who knows, it could be a Ty Chandler. Maybe Jerome Ford sticks around for another year. Guys kind of like what we saw at Rashad White this year.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to look for guys I could see have a path for that. And just hope a couple of them hit. I'm not looking to pay seconds for them, and I'm not even loving to pay early thirds for them. But, if I can get them as a throw-in, I'm going to try and see if I can get lucky and, catch lightning in a bottle.
But are you good moving draft capital right now for those kinds of guys, or are you preferring player-to-player kind of stuff?
Preferably player stuff. If I can get them for a fourth, of course. If somebody thinks Ty Chandler's done and maybe I think he has, sure, I'll throw a fourth for him. Because the draft picks are obviously just going to keep going up and up for the next 3 months, 4 months.
Absolutely.
So that may be something you wait until the draft to do. But I'm just that's one of the things I'm looking out for, some of these running backs that are cheap right now that I can kind of throw in because I hate running backs. So I have a lot of rosters that I need a couple just depth pieces and hope one of them sticks.
Yeah, I've got a lot of really old running backs right now on my rosters, just pretty much across all of them. I think my highest owned player is Eckler, which is unfortunate, but I don't know. Things can really change in the offseason, right? So that's where I'd say, like, for some of these older guys, I wouldn't sell right now. Like, they're not gaining any value right now. But something could happen. Like I saw Dalvin Cook was released today, right, or yesterday, so he can sign with a playoff team. He obviously looked like dust on the Jets, but the Jets look like trash too. So who knows? I'd kind of wait until free agency and things like that. Something goes up and someone's like, oh, hey, he's going, to this area. Maybe he's worth a third or a second at that point, and somebody's more on top of it. But so I don't know. I'm very strategic in what I do. I'm not being emotional. Like looking at the end of the season, like I've received a few offers from Mahomes already, and I'm just like I'm not going to do anything right now when it's like the lowest of the low in his entire career. I feel like so don't get too emotional right now on some of your trade offers. But I think I talked about last week. One guy I think I'd like to hone in on for contenders is Mike Williams. Maybe even a Keenan Allen if someone got burnt by them in the last couple of weeks because he wasn't playing pretty much since Herbert was out. But you got to be a contender for those kinds of things. It's hard to get young players and draft picks right now at this point. But
what are you looking to move for either or both of those guys?
I mean, gosh, I'm hoping a late second could get that done.
I definitely think you can get Williams for that. I don't know.
Closer to draft time, I think it could probably be even later for some of those guys. I guess I still really believe in the Chargers for some reason, and there's all these whispers about John Harbaugh going there and stuff. So I don't know. I think we could see some good changes there. I believe in Herbert a lot more than other people, I think. So,
I got a feeling at least one of those isn't a Charger next year.
One of the receivers?
Yeah,
maybe.
With the cap the way they are.
And
the fact they're most likely going to have a top 5 guy, so could be looking at Neighbors sitting there. That they might easily just say, we'll eat the dead cap and take some of the money back.
So you want to hear something really funny? So you guys were and I've heard him talked about before, but the Washington wide receiver, because I was listening on the radio last night to the
Mhm.
playoff games, and is it Odunze? Is that how you say it? Or how do you say his name?
Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, Dunze.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought y'all were saying Doomsday. And I was like, whoa, this dude's name is Doomsday. Like, that's badass.
That is a badass nickname though.
Like, I think he should totally roll with that. Because I was like, wow, Doomsday, like that's pretty legit. So,
I mean, his first name is Rome Doomsday.
dude, that's even better, man. He should sign me as his marketing agent, I guess, once I get my MBA. But yeah, Doomsday, I guess. So I wasn't sure if I was saying it right, but anyway, funny.
Yeah, he looked good.
Crap story. Oh yeah. What about you, Chad? What are you doing right now?
Right now I'm really consolidating some of the players that I have my eye on trying to get rid of. Trying to consolidate all those pieces and see if I can start getting in people's ears and seeing what people are looking for. Really not trying to make any major moves right now. Just talking to people while people are still available, because that's the big thing, right? Like, people aren't completely turned off yet. So right now I'm just chatting with people and just like, hey, what are you trying to do this off season? What are you going for? What's your plan going into the draft? What do you want to accomplish? Maybe we can help each other out, and not in a collusion way, but just in a mutual kind of good trade way. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm doing right now, is just laying the groundwork for some bigger moves that'll happen later in the offseason when hype starts to build. But I think right now it's all about, as kind of corny as it sounds, being a little bit of a politician in your league, and really just approaching everybody you can, and before they, peace out for the offseason.
It's a good idea. I hadn't really thought about that. I mean, I talked to a ton of people, so I guess I kind of naturally do that, but I hadn't really thought of actually just reaching out and saying, hey, what you thinking on this off season? Just trying to see, maybe they want to buy your vets, or maybe they want your draft cat, whatever it may be. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's one thing I learned a long time ago. If you could be the last thing that somebody does in Dynasty, like as far as like the last person they talk to before they leave, they're gonna naturally gravitate, to thinking about trades they can do with you, and that's ultimately gonna help you. So yeah, I like to just have a conversation with them, not necessarily even try to get a deal done. Just have a conversation and be like, hey, this is what I'm trying to be. This is what I'm trying to do this offseason. I'm trying to move this guy. Maybe move this guy. I'm thinking about, what might happen in the draft with these wide receivers, and just talk football a little bit. Talk about their roster, and, you can give your opinion on their roster a little bit, and, maybe they marinate on it and they're like, you know what, maybe we can get a deal done later. So, yeah.
That's kind of interesting. I don't do that a whole lot because I don't like to talk, because I'm in too many leagues. I'm like, hey, these are guys that'd be interested in moving. Any of these guys are available. I counter 95% of the time whether you like it or not. But one thing that I think really is kind of backdooring with that too is, like, especially if they're like, oh, I think I'm going to start a rebuild or a slow rebuild or whatever, and maybe they trade their 25 first and it's on someone else's roster, and you can be like, oh, well, if you're going to move some stuff, maybe I'll go try to snag that. So not always back door, but at the same time.
The other thing that I've been able to do with that strategy the last few years, especially, is in talking to people, you'll find out players that people really like, and you'll talk to one guy and he's wanting to move that player. You talk to another guy, he really likes that player. You're like, okay, well, maybe I can be the middleman here. I don't have any dog in the fight, but maybe I can get a deal on that guy since you want to get rid of him, and then flip him over to the other guy later in the offseason. And I've been able to do that a few times with some players, and that's, that works out. You don't get crazy value, but you get maybe a couple thirds, a second, something like that, and it adds up at the end of the day. You do that a few times. So
yeah.
Sure.
You got anything else, Austin, as far as
Not really. I mean, I know I'm starting to really get into my rookie tape. I mean, excuse me, I guess incoming rookie tape.
yeah.
I've already watched 15 plus receivers.
Oh wow.
So I'm going to start going into some running backs. I'm trying to wait until I see more players declare, so I don't watch the tape for not nothing, but
Doesn't go back. Yeah.
basically nothing. So there's a couple receivers I still have sitting there, like a Mecca Ibuka. I'm hoping he see his name go, but I'm scared we don't. But I'm going to go into some running backs, especially after watching Blake Corum last night. Makes me want to go in and get into some running back tape.
I also like to tear down at this time sometimes if I got an elite guy, but it's got to be at the right price. So like, what I would think about is like a Jamar Chase or a Jefferson down to a St. Brown or a Lamb. Like, is there more you could do onto that? I don't know if you can, but
not Lamb. I think you're gonna have to
not
add
Lamb. I don't
Chase.
think. I saw someone was offering. Gosh, it was T. Higgins, 225.
Oh, I did see that, and a 26 first. Yeah,
second and a third, a couple seconds and a couple thirds for Lamb, and I was just like, ooh.
Please give me that offer.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. But there are some people that just don't care about picks right now. So if you're sending them an elite player, but you're just tearing down to a, maybe 2 or 3 less points per game, or something like that, I think it's something interesting to do. One player that I'm really, I guess, kind of curious that I'd just like to bring up because he intrigues me because I did not believe at all at the beginning of the year because he was so bad. And now the back half of the year, he's been so good, is Jordan Love.
Yeah.
And what he goes for. So a trade actually just got completed like 2 minutes ago as we were as we just started. It was Jordan Love, a second, and Trey Palmer for Purdy and Tank Dell.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Which I think I like the Purdy side better, but like, man, Love is also like, it's just a really interesting situation with a really young roster, besides Aaron Jones.
Yeah, and a bad roster, an objectively bad roster. Like Love Love looked like a really good player in a pedestrian offense. So that's what I like. I mean, that's what I like about his situation. Hopefully they can improve that a little bit for him. What I think I got him in P2. In Patreon too,
like 2 seconds
for
right?
a 2025 second, which is your second, Mike. So probably going to be late, and a 2026 third.
Crazy, and I think that was relatively the price probably 2 months ago.
Yeah,
I even back then I was saying I would pay a first for him.
Yeah, you did. I remember I gave you shit about it.
Yeah,
and I mean I can say I'm obviously wrong. He's looked phenomenal, honestly, about since that point. I think it was like a week or two after that.
Because I was watching him really closely, like a few weeks up until that time when we were having that conversation about him, and I was like, man, why is everybody hating on this guy? Like the offense looks really bad, but he looks pretty good. And I think he was just able to get it together, and they were able to put a little bit of a better performance in that second half of the season. But man, I'm really excited about Jordan Love. I'm glad I have him in a few places.
Yeah.
What quarterbacks? We kind of discussed this last week, but quickly, what quarterbacks are you looking to move for him? Okay, what are you going to try 1-for-1? Are you going to try Goff 1-for-1? Would you rather have Goff?
I mean, I don't like to 1-for-1 like that. This would be a situation where like I would tear down.
Okay, so who are you trying to tear down to, or from?
I mean, I don't know. I got a lot of Lamar and Herbert and Mahomes.
Okay.
So it's like, what would you add on to those ones? It's like, man, is it enough? Man, I don't know.
In my big money league, I teared down from Josh Allen 2 days ago.
What did you get?
I got Kyler and 3 firsts.
Holy!
One of them is the 112, but and one of them is next year. It's probably going to be maybe an early, has a chance to be an early to mid. But you never know what happens from year to year. And then the first that's this year is the 103.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Did the guy explain his thought? Did you ask him? I mean, obviously not.
He's just still not a believer. Still not a believer in Kyler.
Wow. I mean, I guess to be fair, I did something very similar. in a league. I'm trying to look
That
at
was
it
too
now.
Jesse, wasn't it?
No, it was to.
That's a lot. I mean that's a whew. Even if it wasn't the 103, say it was the
Let me look it
107,
up.
112, and the next year's first. I mean
Yeah.
that's an
And
insane amount to pay.
103 is a very interesting pick this year because, especially early on, I'm trying to tear down from 101 and 102 to 103 right now. Because I like Rome just as good as Marvin Harrison Jr. personally. I know a lot of people aren't gonna, maybe laugh at that, but I think he's just as good. Maybe a little bit less exciting, but I mean he's a really freaking good player, man. And Drake May is also there. So if I can get plus from the 101 to the 103 and tear down from Caleb Williams, I'm willing to throw a dart on it in a couple leagues and make that happen. But the 102 for me, everybody is really excited about the prospect of Marvin Harrison Jr. Still, and a lot of people that don't watch college football don't realize how good this wide receiver class is. He's not going to be the only really, really good player in this class. And at the end of the day, it's not going to surprise me if he's not the best wide receiver in the class.
Yeah, it'll probably be landing spot that determines production side of the best. I think it'll be a lot like the CeeDee Lamb draft class where you had multiple guys just become really good. I mean, it's an okay thing to have. I mean, that's the class with Ayuk, Pittman, JJ, Lamb. I mean, it's a pretty dang good class.
Yeah. Justin Jefferson went in the at 111, 112. Pittman and Ayuk went in the second round of rookie drafts.
I mean, you're gonna have this class is insane. Like I said, I've watched probably about 15 of them now, and man, like 11 of the 15, I'm like, ooh, I like this guy. Ooh, I like this guy. Or oh my god, I love this guy. And so it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I found the trade, and I'd done it a month ago, over a month ago. So I tiered up to Mahomes. I traded Kyler, the 101, and then what ended up being the 106. It was for Mahomes, and then his 25 first, which this is someone who finished at the 107, and I think he has a really old team. So I honestly don't think he's going to make the playoffs next year. I think it's going to be like the top 4 pick next year, but thank God a little bit. Regret it though now. But I did win the championship in that league. They then ended up moving Mahomes to hurt. So made some crazy deal. But got the ship. So
yeah. You probably would have still won it with Kyler though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know if I would have started him because I would have had Mahomes, or I guess so, because I had Kyler and Lamar. So having Lamar.
Yeah, you definitely would have won. But that's all right, man. I mean, sometimes nobody has a crystal ball, right? I mean, you make the moves you think are the right ones at the time. And I'm a big proponent of going back and looking at your trades from, more than a year or two ago. And you start realizing how little you actually know and how stupid it is to judge some of these trades based strictly on value, because they look freaking crazy. 2-3 years into the future, they look absolutely insane. Look like toddlers mashing buttons, basically. So,
for sure.
Yeah, I hate doing it, but it's such a good thing to do, like to teach yourself to not like press over a third, getting a deal done, or it's got to be an early first, stuff like that. Because when you look back 2 years ago and you think, oh, that pick came to 103 and it still doesn't matter, you're like, oh, well, I should have done it or I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, when you're like, oh, yeah, I got that draft pick and I used Jalen Reagor for that, or N'Keal Harry for that.
So what do you guys think about this? This is an interesting one. So while we have Justin or Jordan Love, while we're talking about him relatively recently, I got Jordan Love earlier in the offseason. I traded my 2024 first for him, and I thought my team was going to be better than it ended up being. I just had a lot of injuries, and a lot of really shitty quarterback play. But anyways, so I traded for Jordan Love, and I traded my 2024 first for him, and it ended up being, let me take a look here, the 103.
Oh.
Ooh. I was gonna say like 107,
Yeah, I was
6'7" is what
You
comes
were
to
at
my
least
mind
going to
right
say
now.
105. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 103. So
I'll
how
take the 103.
so how far off is that for you though?
I probably want the 111
Well, I
with
mean,
it.
because who knows what these drafts are gonna go like? Do you think Harrison's gonna go 1 or 2 in every draft?
I think he's going to go 2 in every draft. I think it's a lock. It's a lock. It's a lock. I think he's going to go 2 in every single draft. 1 or 2.
But man, like if sorry, what's the LSU kid's name?
Who?
The LSU
Oh,
quarterback?
Jaden
Neighbors.
Jaden
No,
Daniels.
the quarterback.
Oh, the quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Yeah.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels. Like if he goes somewhere super sexy,
Yeah. If
I
he goes
could
somewhere
see-
enticing,
I could see it getting A-Rich type of hype, is what I'm saying.
absolutely.
Like I'm not saying they're the same player, but when you're talking about Heisman Trophy winner and goes
The dude's
somewhere
an extreme athlete. I mean, he's as good a runner coming out of college as Lamar.
It was funny.
Impressive to watch.
I gave a ride I gave an Uber to a kid from LSU, and he's on the staff, he's on the team, and he was like, "Yeah, it was really nice for Christmas presents. I said Jane Daniels sign all this stuff for my family members, and I gave all these jerseys and cards and things like that." I was like, "That's pretty legit. You think you can get one?" But
yeah, for real.
He wasn't from here, but
I just think the hype on Marvin Harrison Jr. is. I mean, we had people trading for him 2 years out. Like there was people like, oh, I need to get an early first for 2024 so I can get Marvin Harrison Jr. And this was like in 2022.
Yeah.
So like, I think the hype is just, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, I just don't think it's gonna. I think no matter what happens, he's gonna go 101 or 102. In consensus, I'm not saying in every league, but just consensus overall. I think the hype's too big. I don't remember a wide receiver getting this much hype since like Calvin Johnson. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else.
Chase was up there.
Yeah, but not this much though.
And he didn't even play. That was what killed him for the
hype. Yeah.
Before. He had the hype his sophomore year that would have been.
Yeah, yep. But yeah, towards the rookie draft, it wasn't as big. It wasn't as big as Marvin Harrison has right now. I mean, and it's also the name too, like Marvin Harrison.
So I got a question. I love talking these hypotheticals right now because I'm looking at the draft order. Right,
I'm about to do the same thing.
Everyone's assuming. Yeah, everyone's assuming Caleb Williams is going 101, right?
I'm not. I'm definitely not locked on that. I think Drake May could easily go 1.
We'll say he does. So he goes to the Bears at 101. Obviously, they trade Fields at some point. The Arizona at 4 looks like where Marvin Harrison could go, I think.
Until the Giants jump him and take him. That was the spot.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens this week because the Giants could jump him.
Yeah, I mean, and Washington and New England need quarterback. But man, like if Harrison went to Arizona, I don't know. Like,
the Arizona or the Chargers are the 2 best spots at the top of the board for him.
So
if he goes those, then
I like that Arizona spot a lot.
Heck yeah.
And I say this because when Chase came out, like draft, it was T-Law, and then I think Zach Wilson went or Lance went. I can't.
No,
remember.
it was Wilson and then Lance.
Yeah, and I had the 4. I didn't need a quarterback. It was a 3 or the 4, and I needed a quarterback. And I went chasing. I didn't need a quarterback, sorry. And I went chasing Pitts.
Yeah.
And someone got Fields, and I was like,
me.
man, I kind of regret it.
5.
But now, like, I'm looking at Chase, and I'm like, golly, like, and we knew that, we knew that about Chase, right? So that's why I'm like, man, I could see someone just going Marvin Harrison because anything could happen with these quarterbacks, right? Like, we really.
Yeah, but people love the new shiny toy. And they love quarterbacks. That's why I think you're going to see a lot of Chase fall unless he hits the right spot. If he goes to the Chargers, it doesn't matter. You're going to see him at 1 and 2 in any draft. You'll see like a similar to Bijan, in my opinion, where he'll.
If he goes to the Chargers, he's going 1. Like it's a lock. He's going 1.
Are you saying if Harrison went to the Chargers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's going 1. Especially if they get a really like high profile offensive coach.
Like Ben Johnson goes there.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
But my whole thing with Marvin Harrison Jr. is I think people already view him like, I mean, and I'm not saying this is right, but people already view him like Justin Jefferson and Chase. People in their minds, he's already them. And it is so hard to get those two guys. And you can throw Lamb in there now, but it's so difficult to get those guys. You could almost get you know, one of the quarterbacks that's capable, like a Justin Herbert or a Joe Burrow. You can get those guys a little bit easier than you can Justin Jefferson or Chase or Lamb right now. And it's just because of that tier is just thought of as those really just those three guys, and that's it. Where the quarterbacks, everybody kind of has them in a different order. You know, you might be able to get Lamar from somebody relatively cheap compared to his production. You might be able, I mean, Mahomes and Josh Allen are kind of a different thing. But you know, the other guys, people just kind of have them mixed up a little bit, and there's just quite a few of them at the moment. And then with this quarterback class coming out too, I just think quarterbacks, it's a little bit easier to acquire those guys than it is for a guy that people already view as tier 1 wide receiver. And yeah, I mean, I think that's absolutely insane. So I'm trying to get rid of my 102s personally.
So Garrett Wilson or Marvin Harrison?
Marvin Harrison for me.
Marvin Harrison, yeah.
Okay.
Just because the hype. I mean,
well, no, I'm asking if I don't want it for trade value. I'm asking for your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that depends on landing spot for me.
Let's say Arizona, because I do think that's the most realistic spot looking at the draft order.
Marvin Harrison over Garrett Wilson for me.
Same for you?
Same, yeah.
AJ Brown?
I think that's about even for me.
Yeah, because we're talking the age, right? But
so he's tied wide receiver 5. So it's not like you even have him far from that top tier. Because the only names
I think
Chase, Lamb, and JJ.
But I think JJ, Chase, and Lamb are just different. I mean, those guys, like, you can say their value's fairly close to AJ Brown, just like in a vacuum, but in reality, it's not. Yeah, it's like you can get AJ Brown. Yeah, you can get AJ Brown a lot easier than you. And even if you say it's a first apart, like for some people, it's more than that. Like, you know, some people just will not give you Chase or Jefferson. Like it just is not going to happen for you.
Where's Amon-Ra fall in that tier for you? How close is he to that top tier?
Oh man, he's underrated for me. I think he's so good.
I think he's really close to that. Honestly,
he's underrated too. I've been trying to buy him all season and I can't.
He's so expensive. We say he's underrated. I think it's just because he's not spoken in that same tier. But when you try to buy him, he's not underrated.
I think he's underrated in startups. Like if somebody doesn't have him on their roster and they're just like, oh, it's Amon-Ra. Like he's going to go a little bit later than the guys that he's, producing, given the same production as. But in season, when somebody has him on their roster and he's racking up points for them and they're seeing it week after week after week, they're not going to get rid of him at that point.
Well, I was trying to get it, Austin, with your boy Matt.
He loves him.
Because I had Chase, and he's like, I want Chase. And I was like, well, I need Amon-Ra plus a little bit. And he's like, I don't want to move off him. And I was like, nothing. And he's like, no. And I was like,
he has Amon-Ra above Chase, and he's had him for a couple months now, that.
Yeah, that's fine. But I was trying, and he was out of the playoffs and everything.
Yep. So it's a good discussion. I think the top of each position right now is very interesting, and it's something we'll need to hash on. Just discuss as we get to the off season, because I think it's a lot of preference. But when it comes to startups, that it's going to make a difference when you're on the clock at 110. Who do you take? Because there's a lot of very interesting names in that back end of the turn.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be, I think when the actual NFL draft is like, fairly close and insiders are really given, what's kind of going on with these wide receivers, people are going to be genuinely surprised at how many of these guys go in the top 15. And I think there's a realistic chance that 2 go in the top 5.
Yeah, it depends on who's there, because it'll also depend on quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, yeah, and tackles. I mean, there's just so many good tackles in this class too.
Yeah, that's exactly the other position I was about to say.
Yeah, but and I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying it wouldn't shock me. because I think there's two guys capable of it, and really when you're saying that, you're just saying, you know, 2 top 10 players basically. So
yeah, I agree. It's a very fun class for us Dynasty players. It's going to be really good. I wish it was a better running back class, but it's also going to give some great value at running back because people are going to overdraft some of them and just leave the other ones for dust. And I love drafting those guys late second, early thirds.
One of my push some receivers down too. So.
Yep.
Yep. All right. You guys got anything else?
I'm good.
I think that was
coming
fun.
up on an hour. We just kind of shot it for a little bit, and
yeah,
I think next time we can review some of the other championship rosters. And yeah,
sounds good.
All right. Well, I'll close this out, I guess, because I guess I'm in charge still. So
well, you are hosting, so yeah, that would be nice.
So Happy New Year to all of our DWZ members. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll make it a good new year, good off season, and get ready to build those teams for championships in the fall. Enjoy the national championship, and peace out.
Peace.
Later.